Hello and welcome to your 4:30 Salford Now programme. I'm Emma White.
And I'm Faye Seeger. Here's what's coming up on today's show.
Emergency services are at the Adelphi Ward flats in Salford after reports a body has been found.
A woman from Swinton has been left in despair after a burst water pipe has flooded her newly renovated home.
And we renovated it totally, all new carpets, new furniture, decorating. I spent a year doing it. I took early retirement so I could spend my time doing it.
And stay tuned to hear about the secrets of Salford's history after an archaeological dig at St Thomas's Church.
Police were called to the Adelphi Ward flats around 8 a.m. this morning amid reports of a body being found.
They received a report of concern for the welfare of a man in a courtyard. Hayden Knowles went to the scene.
Police have been here at Adelphi Wharf in Salford since this morning. While there's been no confirmation from police, I understand there are reports the body of a man was found here. Forensic officers are still moving around the scene behind me and there's a police presence in the area, with a number of vehicles from Greater Manchester Police along Adelphi Street. In a statement to Salford Now, police confirmed they were called here at around 8 o'clock this morning, after what they described as concerns for the welfare of a man in the courtyard. Emergency services will continue to remain at the scene this afternoon.
Next this afternoon, a woman from Swinton has been left devastated after a burst water main flooded her home.
Suzanne Blake had just spent 12 months renovating her property and now faces months more to put right the damage. Nadine Atsey has been to speak to her.
Belongings ruined and a 12-month renovation left in tatters after a burst water main. This is Susan's front room and the damage done has left her in tears.
I took early retirement so I could spend my time doing it. And now it's going to be at least 3 months, if not longer, before we can come back.
The flooding was caused by a burst water main outside Susan's house on Worsley Road. Crews have been here trying to fix it since yesterday.
United Utility is also helping by providing water from a different area to those that have been affected.
In about 3 months it'll take, be about 4 to 6 weeks at least to dry the house out. And then do all the repairs because all the door frames are all damaged. Needs decorating throughout. New flooring. Get rid of all the mud. The garden's just full of mud. Everywhere's full of mud.
Susan is now obligated to move in with her son until the situation gets sorted. Nadine Atsey, Salford Now.
The working class secrets of St Thomas's Church have been revealed today as locals took part in an archaeological dig.
Stephen Hayward was at the church in Pendleton, watching on as Salford's untold history was shovelled up.
Digging for history. These volunteers are uncovering 50 lost years of history at St Thomas's Church in Pendleton. In the 1970s, a decision was made to lose hundreds of years of history in order for their yard to look tidier. But now, Barry Embleton, a member of the Friends of St Thomas's Church group, has decided that this crucial history deserves to be unearthed.
Church opened in 1831. The first person to be buried was 3 weeks after it opens its doors in November 1831, and very quickly the place started to fill up with burials.
And so this, well, it's obviously not a typical sort of graveyard setting. How comes, they were buried under the ground for such a long time? I mean, has it been 50 years?
It's, so the gravestones themselves have been covered for about 50 years. So for aesthetic reasons, the graveyard was perhaps becoming a little bit cumbersome to maintain. So the idea was to drop the topsoil, lay grass seed, and obviously it became far more easier to keep it tidy.
Today marks the unofficial unveiling of the aptly named Unearthing Pendleton's Past. The project, funded by Historic England, following their pledge of money to community-based projects such as this, has delighted Mayor Paul Dennett, who is here to mark the start of the event.
We're celebrating the success of the Friends group attached to the church that's been successful with a funding bid into Historic England and been allocated £10,000 to run a project which is about unearthing Pendleton's past. Unearthing Pendleton's past is about really understanding the social histories of the people that made the great city of Salford. So today is a celebration of their success, but it's also about looking forward to understanding those social histories and the role that the people played really in creating the great city of Salford.
The project will run until the 28th of October, which the group are hoping will be the completion date. But with a lot of ground to cover, the call for help is reaching all corners of the community. So go arm yourself with a shovel and some gloves and head to the church to help cultivate some modern history.
1 in 4 women will be sexually assaulted or raped as an adult. In order to combat these harrowing statistics, Greater Manchester Police have joined a national scheme to help improve the way they investigate and prosecute cases of rape and sexual assault. Abby Titmus has been following the story. So Abby, what have G&P had to say?
Well, today it was announced that Greater Manchester Police would be one of 14 new additions to the operation known as Soteria Bluestone. The main focus of the group is to help with policing responses to rape and sexual assault cases. Data from Rape Crisis shows that between March of 2021 and 2022, over 70,000 rapes were reported to the police, and in that same period, only 2,223 charges were brought. Now, it's worth bearing in mind that this figure is for charges only and not convictions, so the number of those sent to prison for these crimes isn't known. Operation Soteria Bluestone has said that they have worked alongside academics to focus on key themes. These include things like suspect-focused investigations, identifying repeat or serial offenders, and victim engagement. But there's no information on what form these ideas will appear in. Detective Superintendent Jude Holmes, who is the force leader for rape and serious sexual assault, has said that the operation is a chance for the organisation to bring about real and lasting change within the force, as well as the criminal justice system. Meanwhile, Bev Hughes, Greater Manchester's Deputy Mayor for Policing, Crime and Criminal Justice, commented that the force must do everything possible to continuously improve how they tackle these cases and prevent them from happening in the first place. Conviction rates for sexual assault and rape are extremely low, with The Guardian revealing last year that fewer in 1 in 60 rape cases recorded by the police actually resulted in a charge being brought. However, it is thought that only 1 in 100 rape cases are actually reported to the police, meaning that number is substantially lower. These schemes will take a few months to implement and the changes to be noticed, but what these mean for the women of Salford is yet to be known.
Thank you for that, Abby. Here in Salford, there are lots of popular places to eat and drink.
But one bar says the rubbish floating in the quays is putting off tourists. Earlier, I went to the Alchemist to find out more. This week, Salford Quays has seen an unpleasant addition to its waters. There is rubbish being piled up from the excessive winds. This isn't impacting just the views, but it is also impacting the local businesses. Barry Devine is the manager of the Alchemist in Media City.
People are here for the views, fantastic cocktails and lots of Instagramming going on, so that background, is an ideal. It does take away from it massively and what we're trying to bring to Salford. And we do try to work with Peel in the local area, trying to get more regular pickups.
I spoke to the local people of Salford who suggested how to improve the situation, and they gave me their thoughts.
Scooper at the end of the day, or basically maybe some signs just to tell people about it.
Well, I think anybody that drops rubbish is wrong. There shouldn't be rubbish anywhere. There's enough bins, and if you bring your rubbish with you, for goodness sake, take it home.
Yeah, I think it lets the city down.
This is an annual frustration for Barry, who is working with the local council to rectify this problem.
We do some work ourselves with the keys as well. We have a Currency of Kindness initiative that we call it within the Alchemist, which is where once a month some of our team will go down and do bits of the pickup as well. Not directly there, but further down the quays. But there's little initiatives like that around Salford quays where people are always doing that. So it's just about not littering. But as I say, when the storms pick up, it blows for miles around, and this is just the end point.
We have since tried to contact the local council, but have not received a response.
3, 2, 1.
In honour of Black History Month, Salford Museum and Arts Gallery are showcasing portraits of the city's healthcare and wellbeing workers.
Hadassah Daniels went over this afternoon to take a look.
In the North Gallery of Salford's Art Museum are the faces of Salford's community being showcased in celebration of October's Black History Month. Salford Museum and Art Gallery have put on an exhibit of 49 portraits celebrating Black and ethnic minority members of the Salford community. The Still I Rise exhibition features photos from Salford University graduate and British Journal of Photography award winner Ali Crew. The portraits include images of NHS workers, engineers, lecturers and council members. Over the next few weeks, I'll be speaking to those featured in the gallery to uncover another level of their story and how they have helped change and shape the Salford community. Hadassah Daniels, Salford Now.
If you're a fan of the Stone Roses and you want a new piece of artwork to decorate your walls, you're in luck. A painting of Ian Brown is currently up for auction on Salford Media.
The proceedings from the auction will be donated to local food banks. Sam Taylor tells us more about their artwork.
From L.S. Lowry to John Cooper Clarke, Salford has no shortage of artists. And now one of them is hoping to do his bit for the struggling food banks across the city.
My name's Dino and I'm a furniture artist and artist.
Dino is taking part in Salford Media's charity auctions, which over the last month have raised hundreds of pounds for food banks across the city.
I wasn't really in a position to donate any money, so I pretty much donated one of my favourite pieces that I've painted.
The painting up for auction is of Ian Brown, the lead singer of the Stone Roses. It takes inspiration from their iconic album covers.
It says Jackson Pollock. I'll be honest, I've never really followed Jackson Pollock. I got my inspiration from the Stone Roses artwork from when they originally did theirs. So I'll paint something, whether it's a portrait or something like that, or some work, and then I literally just use all the colours that I've used and I will just cover the whole piece.
So these food banks are all in Salford. Could you just tell me a bit about your relationship with Salford?
Wow, yeah, I grew up in Salford. I grew up in Lower Kersal. You know, I was born in 75 in Old Hospital. I left Salford when I was 16, 17, went in the army, and you know, things that are happening today are things that I grew up with.
Just down the road from where Dino grew up, Salford Unemployment and Community Resource Centre is one of the organisations benefiting from the auctions.
We provide people from the community with a free food breakfast. We do emergency food parcels. We're not a food bank as such, but if there is an emergency, the majority of people do come in more so for breakfast. Well, it's the most important meal of the day, isn't it, really? If they have the artwork, they can always think, well, I've helped someone out today, I've fed somebody today because I've bought that artwork and that's going to feed somebody.
Sam Taylor, Salford Now.
If you're interested in bidding on the artwork, you can find out more on our website at salfordnow.co.uk.
That's all we've got time for today. We'll be back at the same time next Monday. Goodbye.
Goodbye.